Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Kenton Wakes Up. I'm Dr. Kenton. In the cup today is the last of the Barissimo Donut Store Blend. Ordinarily, I put more, I think it was 60 grams of coffee in a full carafe. I normally put 70. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Today's Saturday, July 5th, 2025. Yesterday was July 4th. And, I pay a little bit of attention, well, maybe too much attention to social media, and a lot of people yesterday took some comfort in feeling like the right thing to do is complain about the nature of the country and how this bill that got passed lately is going to undo a lot of the promising things that previous legislative administrations had tried so hard to establish, and that they're calling it a massive upwelling of money from the very poorest to the very richest, and that might in fact become true once it doesn't all go into effect immediately. Some of it goes into effect immediately. Some of it on January 1st, 2026. Some of it not until January 1st, 2027. So it's after the midterm elections. And uh, for some reason, I remembered the Gil Scott-Heron or Heron, Gil Scott-Heron uh, song, "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised," and there was a thought that I had among the first times I'd heard it, that when the revolution will not be televised was first recorded, it was in the 1960s when live, 24/7 television coverage wasn't really a thing then. And so, what is it possible that the revolution will be televised? Well, I happened to find a clip of a guy interviewing Gil, and he suggested that the tagline, "The revolution will not be televised," means that the revolution has to happen in a place that cannot be televised, i.e., in your mind. You have to find a way to acknowledge the way that your thoughts are not in sync with others and get on board with. If you claim to espouse a certain belief, you need to get on board with the other people who claim to espouse the same beliefs. That won't be televised. And it's true. I want to say he also had a song called "Whitey's on the Moon" or something like that, talking about the way that inner city America is left to struggle and strife and suffer, but Whitey's on the moon. Well, in this clip that where he's being asked about the meaning of "The revolution will not be televised," and at the time he was interviewed as the 1990s. Will that Does that change in the 1990s? And as I said before, he says no. It's more about understanding the meaning of the tagline, which is that you have to change your own mind first. And then he also said in there that, well, yeah, black people are the ones who went through the process. They were told that you want these rights, you need to do these things, and they did those things, and they still didn't get the rights. And they said you need to join up and fight, and they joined up and fight, and they still didn't get the rights. And they said you need to put your trust in whatever, and they did, and still didn't work. He suggests that perhaps black people, because of their adherence to the process, are the ones who deserve the freedoms the most. You can watch the clip yourself. I'm going to post it. Attending to the on my blog site, I'll have all these things posted. But it struck me that perhaps the is the way the country's taken a turn, or at least what it seems like is a turn away from caring about other people, away from viewing that uh, mutual aid as a necessary expense. And been asked, why would you stay? And I guess the reason why is that if you feel strongly about something, you fight for the idea. And somebody says, "But I don't see you fighting." And to that, I would say that there are many ways to go about resisting. It's not just carrying a flag in a parade and shouting and yelling and getting into fistfights. And it's probably less visible, so it's harder to understand, but I know I know why. So I'm staying. I intend to misbehave in the sense that the way I'm being asked to behave is abhorrent to my principles. All right, enough of that. Saturday is ordinarily a day when I do admin work. I did a fair amount yesterday, even though it was a holiday. The grocery store was open, so I did my grocery shopping yesterday. I got started a list here of things that I need to do around the house. Putting mostly, outdoor stuff. One other thing I want to say is that there are sometimes I've lived in this house for 5 years. This is the fifth, um, 4th of July I've spent in this house. And in all that time, the people in this neighborhood, people that I can see from my house, regardless of which window I look out, none of those people in the past have had fireworks displays on their front lawn or in their backyard or anywhere really. So when the fireworks are going off, frightening my dog into trembling at my feet and not feeling super good about it, though having a sense while I'm sitting in my office with my dog trembling at my feet that there's something going on closer. Sounds like some of these fireworks are going off either immediately next door or immediately across the street. But when I look outside, I don't see anything. Well, then I get down this morning and I see straight across the street the people had a fireworks display in their driveway. So, this is not something to go confront somebody about. It's just something to keep in mind for next time. Frustrating as it is, because seeing your dog trembling for fear is not fun. Even though I know in my 50 odd year old brain that those fireworks, those noises are not causing any amount of pain or strife or fear or anxiety. My dog doesn't understand any of it. And why should he be punished? So, anyway, there are things that you can struggle against in the moment, and then there are things you have to file away for the future. Being mad about something that happened in the past doesn't do anything to make it any better. All right, what else? Got a list of things to do today. Um, I have a box. It's right over there. You can't see it, but it's got a bunch of stuff in it that sort of, as a way to quickly clear off my desktop, I would just sort of sweep everything into that box. I think I need to go through that box and decide how much of it is actually worth keeping. Maybe not very much of it. Um, all right. Well, that's pretty much all I had to say. Enjoyed the Gil Scott-Heron clips that are songs, raps, whatever they are called, and take it to heart. You know, the the American experience is not a homogeneous experience. It's different for every group of people. It's different for every individual. And so, if you feel like your experience is going just great, it's probably a fair assumption that there are a dozen more people out there who aren't having such a great time. So, if you can acknowledge your privilege, I guess is the right word, and do what you can to help other people, that would be a better situation than what we seem to be celebrating a lot in this country lately. All right. Enjoy your day. Love you. Bye.